Okay, so the last concept, I think this is the final slide. We have power. Okay, so ether channel, what happens basically, the same concept. We have switches, two Ethernet switches, which are connected with a 1 gigabit Ethernet cable. And we have like 4 uh, cables connected with each other. Why? Because we want redundancy. If this cable is down, we still have these 3 up, so we can send the information. But the problem is only one cable will be utilized. As you can see here, these will be in the blocking state, and this is the only one in the forwarding state. And what forwarding state means, if we have PC1 here and we have PC2 here, and if it wants to send information, it will go through here always. But let's suppose we have 1,000 computers attached to this switch, and when they all sending information, it will be going through the same single cable. So these things are sitting idle doing nothing, but we want to utilize these cables as well. So this is the concept comes here, ether channel, which is going to do logical bundling. As you can see, we have 1 gig 4 cables, which when we bundle using ether channel, now it is saying we have 1 cable with a 4 gig of capacity. So before, only this cable was sending or receiving the information. But now, since we have aggregated or bundled logically these 4 ports, now we have information maybe going through this port or maybe going through this port. So we have multiple options. So this is called logical bundling. So it is mentioning here, ether channel is a port link aggregation technology or port channel architecture used primarily on the Cisco switches. So primarily it was being used on the Cisco switches. It allows grouping of several physical interfaces. Ethernet links to create one logical, this is one logical link for purpose of providing fault tolerance as well as the high-speed links between switches, routers, and servers. So this is the basic idea behind the ether channel. Ether channel use 2 kind of protocols, PAGP, LSEP. PAGP again is a Cisco proprietary, and this concept is almost similar to the one that I discussed in the earlier slide. While this one is open standard, so wherever we have Cisco switch with the Juniper, we're going to use LSEP. And these are negotiation protocols. So if we take the same concept in our Windows environment, you have come across many occasions that your Windows machine have multiple network interface card, as you can see here, and they need to be connected to the switches. And we want redundancy as well here as well. For example, if we have only single cable and if it is down, so you can assume that we will be unable to receive this server. But we need redundancy everywhere. So this time we have 2 network interface card, which is connected with the switch with the port 1 and port 2. And then we will have kind of software inside our Windows environment, which will create the NIC teaming. So this is the same concept like ether channel here, but when we will hit the Windows, it will be talking about the NIC teaming. And what NIC teaming is? NIC teaming is the process of combining multiple network cards together for performance, load balance, and redundancy. Use NIC teaming to group 2 or more physical link into a single logical network device called bond. Okay. So this is the last slide, And because we are still hitting the basics, that's why we are consuming so much time. And another problem is you haven't gone through the module 3. So that is the reason, in a quizzes, I just guess that you have no understanding about these things. So that's why, I'm just going in a lot detail. So when you will go again back to the module 3, and you will see that things will be a lot easier after going through this session. So this is power over Ethernet, and you are familiar that I talked about the power over Ethernet. Instead of, this, let's suppose this is a cam device. Instead of plugging this device into this AC adapter, these days switches are capable of providing the power as well. As you can see, this network camera, Bluetooth access point, wireless LAN access point, and VoIP phones, they are directly connected to the switches without plugging into the AC adapter. So basically the switch is providing the power. So this is a concept of power over Ethernet. PoE describes any of a several standard that pass electric power along with the data on twisted pair Ethernet cable. So what it means? It means this cable is not only providing the power, but it is providing the capability of transferring the data as well. So 2 in 1. So the engineers, they came up with the idea, because if you take a look of your Ethernet cable, we have 4 pairs, 1, 2, 3, and 4. 2 of them pairs are being used for sending or receiving the data. The rest of the 2 are sitting idle. So they came up with the idea, why not to use these 2 cables as a power? So that is the reason when you will plug this voice over IP phone into the switch, which is PoE capable, it will get the power as well as the data from the same cable. It is scalable, it is flexible and safe technology with more savings. Okay, and we know why it is going to save a lot of money. We don't need to put into these AC adapters which consume a lot of power. Then we have this final thing. This is power injector, and this is the power injector, by the way. What in case if you have one access point device which is capable of PoE, but then you have a switch which is not capable of PoE. What you will do? In that case, you will buy something like that. This thing will go into the AC adapter, and one of the cable, which is PoE, will be connected with the access point, and this will go into the, if I make a switch here, which is not PoE capable. So this will be a normal Ethernet port. So this is how we're gonna give this access point power using this power injector.